What is up, my brothers and sisters, my agents of respect? It's your boy Trey Johnson back with another episode of the No Disrespect But podcast. Before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Uh, always feel free to comment. Just make sure you keep those comments respectful. And if you're interested in supporting your favorite podcast, yours truly, the link to do so will be in the episode description. Now, so happy about today's episode, and I'm going to set up a double episode for tomorrow. So we're going to talk a little bit about what we're talking about today, which is, man, it's a new era in sports, women's basketball, in the NBA, and men's basketball. And so there's a lot to be excited about. Going to talk a little bit about last night's WNBA draft, but also get into some of tonight's playing games and tomorrow's playing games that's going to uh, set the stage essentially for the NBA playoffs. And y'all know how I feel about the play-in, and I'll get into that in a second again. But I want to start about the highlight of Monday night, which was indeed the WNBA draft, ushering a new era of some superstars in the women's game, and just being the trailblazers that they are in terms of how they brought recognition to the game. And look, people like me, yes, and we as ball lovers, we watched it. Y'all, they're not talking about us when they say putting new eyes on the game. We were one of a few. We were a mighty minority. But what's going on now is directly uh, related to, and these women are directly responsible for the wave that we're seeing in women's basketball and the recognition that goes to it. And that starts with Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Paige Beckers, who wasn't in this year's draft, could have been. I thought she should have been, but decided to stay a year. And what she's brought to the game, Juju Watkins, we know what she's bringing as a freshman phenom. Hannah Hidalgo, another freshman phenom. Even Camila Cardoso and what she was able to do with that behemoth of a South Carolina team, and basically replacing their whole starting five from last year and getting to a national championship, undefeated season, completing that with the title. And Camila Cardoso was the point woman for that, the focal point in that whole process. And so just even being a dominant figure in what she was able to do on arguably the dominant team, most dominant team in women's basketball history and college basketball history. So they were bringing to the game. They even got some folks like Rakia Jackson, Nika Mule, Denisha, and I hope I pronounced that right, Fair. So we saw a few folks from France, Australia get drafted. So, you know, the women's game is evolving globally. And so that was really neat to kind of see. And this was the first time ever. I mean, just to kind of talk about how the game has grown, this is the first time ever that the WNBA draft, you had to purchase a ticket to come. It's the first time it was a ticketed event where you had to pay. And I think going forward, you will always have to pay. But I was telling my wife yesterday, I said, I think they're going to have to change the venues. I think they're going to have to get bigger venues because now they're going to have an influx of fans who've never really been a part of the women's basketball game. They're going to want to be there in their jerseys and showing support. I mean, Commissioner Engelberg um, spoke to that. She kind of said, "Hey, for those of you who are just not getting to the game, welcome. We have a great season that's coming up, and we're excited for you not only see these rookies coming in, right, but the stars we have. And trust me, as an avid WNBA fan and watcher of the game, they have a bunch of stars, and it's exciting that folks get to see them and how talented these women are. And like I said, first time ever ticketed event in 27 years, and the WBA is going on year 28. So that shows exactly where this game is headed, where these young ladies are taking it, and you just have to be excited. And look, this is the first year that I can remember where it was a fashion show. I mean, the ladies, they were dressed to a nine. They came like the same way we look to see, on NFL draft day and NBA draft day, what the fellas are wearing, who made the suits, what's on the inside of the suit and everything. I mean, these ladies left no crumbs. They came with it. And the biggest star tonight for me was Angel Reese. And yes, her dress looked good, and it was more so finding out that that wasn't even what she picked. That wasn't even what she picked. She had another dress picked out. She said she got to New York, it didn't fit, and they had to figure out what to put her in. And in 3 days, she comes out with that, looking like the Holy Mother Mary, like just doing the damn thing, and understand that that came through in just a few days. That just lets you know how she coming with the game. So I need to know, like, look, if you win Rookie of the Year or an award, you need to wear a dress that you want to wear to that. Because I'm like, if that wasn't the one you planned on all these months, I didn't know what that one looked like. So, she did her thing. Cameron Brink did her thing with the little slick, looking like Cameron Diaz. Caitlin Clark was the first athlete, male or female, to have Prada make their draft outfit. And she was letting you know now. Like, I mean, we talk about how humble she is, but she was like, y'all, I just want y'all to know Prada made the fit, and they ain't never did that for nobody else before. So, uh, just so y'all know. But I mean, even Fair, like with the suit game was cool. And like I said, Paige Becker, she was acting like a proud mama. Like she wasn't getting drafted today, but she was a proud mama for her teammates, Aaliyah Edwards and Nika Mule. And she had her little white fitted suit or whatever on. Like they just was like, hey, everybody saying is about to have eyes on this draft class, on this draft night. We about to show up and we are about to show out. And they did that. I mean, even the analyst was talking about like that's all they could talk about. We see what these ladies could do on the court, but we've come a long way from the business casual. We have come a long way from the business casual. And so that just added another element, in my opinion, for you to get excited about the draft and about the WNBA, because now the same way we want to see, hey, we know who the top players in the NBA, who the top players in the NFL as far as draft prospects are going to be. So it's like, well, we know y'all gonna get picked, but how y'all coming? How y'all stepping? And now the WNBA has added that dimension. Now we're gonna want to see, okay, next year, what y'all rocking with? And of course, Paige Becker's gonna be at the center of that because she was damn near still in the show today. Just kind of looking Dapper Dan, or yesterday looking Dapper Dan. So everybody be like, okay, Paige, what you wearing? You wearing a suit again? You wearing a dress this time? You wearing a combination of both? I don't know. But it's another thing to look forward to. And you just have to be excited for that. And speaking of excitement, let's kind of get to why everybody was there to get drafted and have an opportunity to mold your career as a WNBA superstar, right? And there were a few picks that I really loved, and I just want to kind of go down the list on those. Love the Chicago Sky's draft, especially in the first round, getting Camila Cardoso at third overall pick when some folks thought, hey, they might go Rakia Jackson, or can I mean she had scored 33 points on 6% from the field in one game this season. So pure bucket. But the thing y'all got to understand is the head coach of the Chicago Sky is Teresa Witherspoon Teaspoon, one of the godmothers of the WNBA of women's basketball. And when I tell you, she is no joke. I mean, I was listening to that she was speaking to a group of young athletes, and she was talking about kind of like that inner strength or whatever. And she was like, that's not a thing. I don't, she was like, the only strength I see is the strength that's external. You gotta have that dog, and you gotta have that dog, you gotta let that come out. Like, don't keep it in, let it come out. And I mean, if you just hear her speak, I mean, I know she was an assistant coach for the New Orleans Pelicans for a while, and some argue that she should have gotten the job. And just what I know from her basketball resume, I can vouch for that. I think she would have been a hell of a head coach in the NBA, especially with the New Orleans Pelicans. But again, if you know Teaspoon and how she was as a player and how she is a coach, just that dog mentality, that roughness, Cardozo was a perfect pick because we see with Cardoso being that enforcer for South Carolina. Then they double back because it was like, okay, well, can you get Cardoso and get Rakia at the next pick? Well, it didn't work out like that. But guess who they did get? Angel Reese, another dog, post monster, bored. I mean, I'm looking at this lineup. If you put Cardoso and Andrew Reese in the game together, who like the opposing team, just get back on like if you shoot the ball, if you're on offense, you shoot the ball, just get back on defense. You're not getting that rebound. Not if the both of those you ladies are on the court at the same time. You're just not getting it. And oh my God, the offensive rebounds. I mean, fucking Angel Reese was getting 5 and 6 offensive rebounds per game at points. Like the number of possessions that they're going to be able to build for their team, and you understand they're about to get coached. Like we're not talking about people that don't know what the hell they doing and just trying to get a check. Like, nah. Teaspoon is really like that. And whatever we thought these young ladies were at South Carolina and LSU, respectively, and how dominant they were, I'm telling you right now, I will go on a limb and say that they will turn it up a damn notch. They're going to win a championship. I'm not saying they're going to win it next year or the year after, but if they can build around these two, because I believe both of them are cornerstone players on the offensive and defensive end, if they can build a team around them and give Coach Spoon the resources that she needs to be successful, oh man, it's a collision course between them and teams like the Aces and the Liberty. Like I don't think it's gonna take long. Sometimes when you just have a coach that's a beast and a monster, it ain't gonna take long. If they are willing to be coached, and again, they're just two players on a whole team. So of course everybody else got to fit in. We got to see if they're ready to take that coaching. But knowing where they come from in terms of a Dawn Staley and a Kim Mulkey and the way they are as coaches, two of the best ever. We know they're not ashamed to be coached. We know they're not afraid to be coached and coached hard and coached to play outside their comfort zone to a degree. So I'm excited, man. When I saw that, I was like, oh, because I did think LA might you know they had gotten Brink. I was thinking they might get Angel Reese when Cardoso went to Chicago Sky. I was like, if LA do it, man, that's crazy. But now having Cardoso and Angel together, man, that's gonna be so much fun. And again, just knowing who the coach is, man, I love Teaspoon. Been a big fan of hers as a player and as a coach, and so I'm excited for what she's going to be able to build there. Another pick I like, and look, y'all know I'm in the DFW area. I really wanted the Dallas Wings to select Angel Reese, but what I was trying to tell people on Twitter or X is that in WNBA there's so few roster spots that in certain leagues like the NBA or NFL you can say, okay, I don't need this player, but they're the best player on the board, so I'm gonna pick them anyway and figure it out. You can't necessarily do that in the WNBA as it's currently constructed. But I think as they add more teams, which they're trying to do, they're trying to add 16 by 2028. I know they're adding one in Golden State next year, and then maybe another team. The commissioner, she mentioned some other spots like I know Philly was one. I can't think of some of the others. I think Sacramento might be one. So it was a few places she mentioned. But I think as they grow in terms of expansion, then you might see teams go best player available. But they had to have a need. And right now, the front court and bigs, that's not a true need for them. That was probably the strength of their team, especially during their postseason run. But where they were weak was guard play in terms of defensively. They have a lot of small guards and needed somebody that was bigger and could handle from a defensive standpoint. Some of these bigger guards that the WNBA have, especially the Las Vegas Aces, have. And so they drafted J.C. Sheldon out of Ohio State, the Ohio State, pardon me, and 5'10", can shoot the three. Definitely has some upside as a 3-and-D player. I think as she grows, she's going to grow with her point guard skills. It's probably going to be her best bet. But again, being able to play off ball and be that key defender, playing with somebody like Arike, who is just a human torch in terms of shooting the ball. And also being without Satu Sabale for who knows how long, maybe the first half of the season, maybe she happened to have an injury playing overseas. So JC can fit in right away. And they have some pretty good guards for the Dallas Wings. I do want to say that. I think they was just a little bit undersized or hurt them on the defensive end. So now you got somebody that, hey, I can contribute defensively. I don't need to be the one scoring and all that type of stuff. They have enough scorers at the guard positions. They have enough scorers inside. But I really would have loved to see Angel Reese there. I just think her mentality and her charisma and just, I mean, obviously the way she plays, I think she would have just brought a totally different dynamic because even though they're good in the post, I don't think they have that in the post. And I think Angel Reese would have been able to bring that on both ends of the floor. I was just daydreaming about Enrique inside two doing a pick and roll with Angel, but maybe someday, who knows? But JC Sheldon was a good pick for them. It fit a need for them, and knowing that that's usually the draft philosophy at this point in time, it was okay. I'll live with it. Um, that was kind of my first round pick. Second round, love Nika Mule, point guard from UConn, going to Seattle. I mean, it's like destiny. Knowing she broke Sue Bird's record at UConn for assists, and now she's going to Seattle Storm. The team and the house that Sue Bird built, and so it's just a part of that UConn sorority that they just put them in. It's kind of like Alabama with NFL players. If you want to be a WNBA player, go to UConn. This is gonna put you in there. This is gonna ship you in there. And she gets to play with Skylar Diggins Smith, Jewel Lloyd. So she's already inheriting some really good guards, some guards that preferably like to score. So her being a pass first type of guard is going to be very beneficial. Also, we saw what she could do defensively. Gave Caitlin Clark a run for her money, so she can kind of take some of that pressure off of Skylar and Jewel in terms of, hey, I'll take on the best perimeter offensive player on the opposing team. So I'm really excited. I think that's a good fit for her. Hopefully, Sue's around the building and could be a mentor for her as well. And so I can see some great things for the guard out of Croatia and UConn. And the big one, how y'all let the Las Vegas Aces get another big three? I mean, look, y'all saw how they ran through the WNBA last year. They swept a super team. Like they didn't just sweep or damn near sweep. It was a gentleman, gentlewoman sweep, whatever you want to call it. And they could have swept them if Sabrina Ionescu didn't go crazy one game. Like, are y'all serious? Y'all was like, we're just gonna let them get some really good players. Like maybe let them get one, maybe let them get two, but all three. And let me talk about three players they got. They got Deasia Fair, third time all-time leading scorer in Division I history. She spent some time at Buffalo, finished her career up at Syracuse. But let's talk about it. Yeah, she's 5'5", but she gets the job done. It don't matter. And coming from a team that's coached by a small guard and Coach Becky Hammond, the GOAT, I mean, it's like a match made in heaven. And Coach Hammond's going to put that chip on her shoulder. She's going to coach her hard. And you just have somebody that you can just say, hey, for now, one, we want to make sure you defend it at a pretty decent level, because that's the only way you're going to get on the court on Coach Hammond's team. Let's talk about that. But for the most part, you really just need to focus on Asia, get the ball to Asia, get to a spot, be there, score, make plays. Like, that's really just going to be your expectation year one. Like, y'all let them get a bucket. And then if that's not bad enough, you let them get Kate Martin from Iowa. And look, I get it that Caitlin Clark's teammates didn't get a good rep at Iowa, but if there was anybody that would say, hey, look, y'all got to give me some love, it was Kate Martin. Because she did the damn thing, okay? When there were times where Caitlin was off and Iowa had to close the game, Kate Martin was the one that they went to do that. She had that one-legged Dirk fade and they kind of that spin move fade away. Man, again, much like Fair, if she works on her defense, Kate can see minutes on the floor. And we know she can play with a superstar because she played with Caitlin. Now you get blessed with Aja Wilson, Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, Candace Parker. You just get blessed with that. Some of the best players in the game and some of the best passers in the game. I mean, Chelsea Gray was a damn point goddess in the WNBA finals. She was going off, and now you done finished playing with one of the best players in college basketball history, right? And now you get to play with some of the best players in WNBA history. And all you gotta do is make open shots. It's like, I've already been doing this. This has been my role my whole, like, for the past 4 or 5 years. I can do it. I don't have to change. So, like, it's great. Like, she continue to play her role and make a big impact on a team that's trying to go for a three-peat. We haven't had a three-peat since the Houston Comets. Back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, they won their first 4 WNBA championships. And the Aces have the team to do it. They already were coming into the year with the team able to do it. And now they've reloaded with second round picks, not even first round picks. You let them reload with second round picks with some of the best players in the draft. And one of my favorite players in the draft, I actually tweeted it, Elizabeth Kelly. I was like, please get Elizabeth Kelly. Virginia Tech, 6'6", post player, unfortunately injured her ACL, tore her ACL the last game of the regular season, I believe. And so she's going to miss this year. I know that. But we know that CP3, Candace Parker, she might have another year left. And after that, you need somebody to put next to AJ. And so all you really need to do is get Kitley in the system. They drafted her. Hey, heal up. You're going to get all the resources you need to heal up. Learn the system. Learn how to be a professional. And next year, the world is your oyster. I mean, these three could be, in my opinion, all healthy. I think between Fair and Kitley, that's two franchise cornerstones. And then you add a K Martin, that'll just do the little things to help play winning basketball. She's been a part of winning basketball her whole career. And she's somebody that can help fill that in. This is what you would want to build a team around. And they happen to get you in the second round to pretty much sit and soak in all that knowledge for a championship roster. Oh man. I don't know how y'all let Coach Hammond, I don't know how y'all let the Vegas Aces get that done. I don't know if y'all were sleeping and snoozing on the job, but I think y'all done fucked up with that one. But anyways, it was a lot to be excited about. Um, Congratulations to all the young women that were drafted. Congratulations to the women that are going to be getting added to training camp rosters. You probably didn't hear your name called last night, but you got a phone call that said, "Hey, we want to see you in camp." And so take advantage of that opportunity. A lot of the analysts who are players and former players and coaches in WNBA, they spoke to that, and I agree with them. It's not where you're picked, or it's not when you're picked. It's where you fit, pretty much. And if you go to a team where you're a really good fit, you have a chance to make that roster, that's an opportunity that you want to seize and take advantage of. And so shout out to all of y'all that just make this game great, that are bringing eyes to this game. Really appreciate everything y'all are doing as being ambassadors for women's basketball and women's sports in general. And so, look, make sure y'all tune into this WNBA season. Everybody today's been talking about the salaries and what the ladies make for 4 or 5 months of work. I mean, $80,000 for 4 or 5 months of work, it ain't the worst thing in the world. If somebody told you, "Hey, I'll give you $80,000 for 4 months of work," you take it, because do the math, it adds up. If you did it from a 12-year calendar. So again, but if we want to grow, and look, I do believe they deserve a lot more than what they're making, but we understand revenue is the language we speak. It's dollars and cents. It's not personal. And so we want to help these ladies get paid more. We need to help the dollars and cents portion of that. And a big part of that is going to be the TV deals. You know how we get them TV deals? We watch their product. We buy season tickets. We buy their jerseys. We promote them on our platforms. We talk about them. And now, I mean, yeah, some of the bad and trolls, they help in a way, but I mean genuine talking about the game of basketball, that's what's going to push it forward. And so we have a job to do as well. We can always blame the WNBA and how they market. We can always blame the players and how they market. But guess what? We as fans, we have power too. And it's time for us to exercise that power. So make sure you guys tune in. Preseason is actually starting May 3rd, and the regular season begins May 14th. There will be a ton of nationally televised games. You have no excuses. I mean, I used to hate when they used to just put it on NBA TV, and everybody don't have that. But man, they put it on ESPN, ESPN2, ABC. You can catch these games. Make sure you do that. And if you are in a city where a WNBA team resides, one, you're lucky as hell. take advantage of that opportunity and go. Because as a native New Orleanian, I want a WNBA team in New Orleans, and it sucks that it isn't one there because that is a fantastic sports city. And so, as we're talking about expansion in the WNBA, I hope that they bring one to New Orleans. Hell, if I come into some good money soon, shit, I might see what I got to do to get a team there because I know there's a lot of great athletes there. There's a lot of great sports lovers, and they would love and support a team in New Orleans. So if you have a team in your city, your ass needs to be in the stands. And that counts to me as well being a DFW. I need to be at more Dallas Wings games, and I expect to be at more Dallas Wings games. So shout out to that. Now I want to transfer over to the NBA play. Like, look, y'all know I hate the playing. I do. I always feel like you have 82 games to audition on whether you want to be one of 16 teams in the in the NBA to make the postseason. This allowing 9 and 10 seeds to have a shot. It's honestly total bullshit. I get what Adam Silver was saying, and people are saying, "Well, we're getting more competitive games towards the end than we've ever had." No, there was a way to make the games more competitive. There was a way to stop having stars sit out key games, then essentially giving a consolation prize to 9 and 10 seeds. It's not even appropriate to call them mediocre. They're shit teams and they have a chance to make the playoffs. It's ridiculous. I mean, if I'm a 7 to 8 seed, I'm not saying I'm the cream of the crop, right? But I earned my spot through 82 games. We had injuries. We had some of us probably have coaching changes. Some of us have probably had key trades that have sent some key players that we have away or brought some players in, but we made that shit work. And so for those teams, the 7 and 8 seeds, to be penalized for fighting through adversity, and it says, oh, well, congratulations, you have to play an extra fucking game. I mean, it's already bad enough. I got to play a 1 seed and a 2 seed with the odds being as low as they are. Now you're telling me I have to play an extra game? That's ridiculous, but it's Adam Silver's NBA. He's the king of participation trophies. It's just what it is. It's the truth. And when I'm at owners' meetings in a few years, that's exactly what I'll tell him. Because guess what? He'll be working for me at that point. I can say what the fuck I want to. And that'll be the truth of the matter. Like, you can't be the king of participation trophies. You are tainting a sacred game. How are we going to talk about the NBA in the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years with the same level that we've talked about previous generations? You kind of ruined it for us. So, I mean, I felt like if you had done the 65 game thing a long time ago, we would have had the similar results of of players playing when they're supposed to. Because guess what? That's what changed it. The play in, guess what? Teams were saying, well, shit, I'll get to the play in. Like, I'll be fine. Like, I don't need to play Kawhi. I don't need to play LeBron. I don't need to play Steph as many minutes and all that type of shit because I can just get in the play in and ramp it up then. But soon as the league said, oh, first team, second team, all stars, individual awards, oh, all that shit is over with if you don't play 65 games. That's when we started getting high level fucking basketball, not this damn participation trophy for 9 and 10 seeds. That shit's ridiculous, but it's the era we're in now. So we're going to talk about it. So I'll get off my soapbox. Thank you for allowing me to have that moment. And we'll probably be talking about this shit again next year until it's over, until they vote it out and we can get back to actual basketball, real basketball. Then I'll probably stop talking about it. But again, I'm off my soapbox. Let's talk about the teams. It's not their fault. It's Adam Silver's. Anyways, so I'm gonna start with the Eastern Conference. And the way they're doing is they have some games starting tonight. I believe the um, Eastern Conference plays tomorrow. The Western Conference plays tonight. But I just kind of want to start with the Eastern Conference, and then the Western Conference is going to be the games tonight. So I want to finish up with them. And so in the Eastern Conference, we have the 7th seed 76ers hosting the 8th seed Miami Heat. And so the way the play-in works is the 7th seed and the 8th seed play one another for to see who gets the 7th seed, and the 9 and 10 seed play each other to see who gets to face the loser of the 7-8 seed matchup. So if the 8 seed upsets the 7 seed, they have the 7 seed, and that 7 seed is now an 8 seed, and they have to uh beat either the 9 seed or the 10 seed to have the 8 seed. So it's weird. So as it stands right now, the 76ers will be hosting the Miami Heat. And I will say this. In my heart of hearts, I think the Heat will win, but for my New York Knicks agenda, where I have the New York Knicks making the Eastern Conference Finals, Stephen A. Smith, I want my courtside seats. We talked about it. I've been tweeting at you. I said in my podcast months ago that the New York Knicks would win and get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and that I would be sitting courtside with Stephen A. Smith. Do not make me a liar, Mr. Stephen A. Because your New York Knicks will get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I firmly believe that. But do not make me a liar. Do not make me a person that tells half truths, because I am the last truth teller and I want to keep that going. Okay. But anyway, agenda or not, I got the 76ers keeping home court, or using home court to their advantage and beating the Miami Heat. Joel Embiid's back. I know he's still kind of getting back from the injury. I've seen him leave some games kind of banged up. If he can stay away from the damn flopping and having his big ass hurting himself all the time, then maybe we can do something. Because I really don't want him to keep flopping, because if he gets hurt, he ain't playing for the Olympics. And now we got to ask Jared Jackson III to come back, and he was a liability defensively in the World Cup. So I definitely don't want that. But anyways, I have the 76ers um, uh, beating Miami Heat. Miami Heat is just crazy, man. It's almost as if they've let the we'll be okay when we get to the postseason get to their head, because they're just not bringing it the past couple of years. And I know there's been some injuries and things like that, but it's just starting to get frustrating because they're a really good team. And why are you always at the bottom of the barrel? I don't understand it. 76ers, like I said, they started hot. I mean, I thought Joel Embiid was going to win back-to-back MVPs. That's how much of a tear he was on. Ends up hurting his knee, has to be out for a few months. Tyrese Maxey keeps them afloat, but they lose a lot of momentum. So they go from being top 3 seed to now in the play-in as a number 7. But I think with Embiid being a little bit healthier, obviously some of his teammates having some experience playing without him is going to be really beneficial. I think they win that game, and they have that 7 seed. Um, in the 9-10 matchup, you got Chicago Bulls going against the Atlanta Hawks. Man, I'm going with the Bulls. I haven't got to give you a whole mumbo jumbo. I just think the Bulls are a better team. I love Trae Young. Y'all know I love DeJounte Murray, even though he said some things on the way out, but I just know he was upset, and he still loves Spurs fans. And he loves the Spurs organization. It was just some things at the top. It is what it is. But the Hawks, again, they've made way too many moves. They put way too much money into their roster to be a play-in team for the second year in a row. It's ridiculous. I don't understand it, but it is what it is. They were able to get into the playoffs last year and play against the Celtics, and got beat in that series. I don't think they make the magic happen again. I think they lose, and then they start to look in the mirror. And I think this is the way. Another agenda. I think this is the way to get Trae Young and Wemby together, and so my Spurs gonna be back on top. But yeah, so it's a little agenda driven, but it's also because I just think the Bulls are a better team. DeMar DeRozan's been playing outside of his mind. Kobe White, who should rightfully be the most improved player in the goddamn league. I'm tired of folks who were high draft picks and just playing up to their damn potential, getting the award because they went from averaging 17 points a game to 20 points a game, and they got to get it. Nah, fuck that. Kobe went from averaging like 89 points to damn near 20 points a game. Like, the kid is amazing. It's exactly what the award was meant to be and who was meant to go to. Like, I don't understand. Kobe White is my most improved player. You got Big Vooch doing his damn thing in the post. And I just think the Bulls are going to come out on top. And so that's going to set up a 8-versus-9 matchup with the Miami Heat playing the Chicago Bulls. I do think at that point in time, the light bulb will turn on for the Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler and company, or as I call them, Jimmy and the Misfits, they will get their shit together, and they will end up winning that and keeping the 8 seed, I guess you can say, over the Bulls. And so that will set our playoff stage as 1 seed Celtics versus 8 seed Heat. 2 seed New York Knicks. Our New York Knicks, Stephen A. We're going to be courtside together versus the Philadelphia 76ers. The Bucks versus the Pacers, so 3 versus 6. And the Bucks will be without Giannis probably for that whole series, at least for the first 2 games. 2 or 3 games and dealing with that left calf strain, which I hope they don't rush him back from because I told this KD had a left calf strain. He ended up fucking up his Achilles. And then you got the 4-5 matchup, Cleveland Cavaliers versus the the Magic, the Orlando Magic, who I predict to be in the playoffs. I want y'all to know that. It's one of my hot takes coming into the season. So really happy about that. Um, and so that's kind of your Eastern Conference stage. I won't give you my predictions yet, but you will get those this week. Plan is to give them to you tomorrow. So we shall see. We shall see. And it will be a late episode. I'm telling you that right now. So it's either going to be um, a late, um, it's either going to be a late Wednesday episode or it's going to be a late Friday episode. Just trying to figure that out. So really trying to get that to you. It's going to be a Wednesday, Friday. I might have to fit it in on Saturday when the playoffs start. So keep that in mind. I might end up doing Saturday because that just makes more sense. And the play-in will be done. We'll know the seeding. I can go from there, but we'll see. So I'm with and then ending with the Western Conference play-in, which starts in a couple hours or so, hour and a half or so. Um, so we got the 7 seed Pelicans hosting the 8 seed Lakers. Pelicans got their ass bust last time they played the Lakers when they could have shirred up the 6 seed in this year's playoffs and kept themselves out of the play-in. They wet the bed. Zion Williamson wet the bed. It was Brandon Ingram's first game back, and he actually played like it meant some shit to him. Obviously, CJ had a slow start, so Jonas Valanciunas poorly fucking played. I don't understand. If you're just going to give AD the night off, then can you tell the fans? Because if you, I mean, there's nobody on on defense that can stop him. But if you ain't gonna make him work on defense and just having to have JV's big ass just fucking leaning on him all damn game, well, you're setting yourself up for failure. But that's their team. I'm not a fan, but I want to support them and want to see them do well because I'm tired of Pelicans fans crying about referees and all that type of shit on my timeline. So God, you need them to win something. Shit, tired of hearing about referees. But anyways, um, 7 8 seed Pelicans versus Lakers, and 9 and 10 seed you got the Kings versus Golden State. Now, granted, everything I said about the damn Pelicans and how they wet the fucking bed and how they were just a huge disappointment for me, I'm going with them to beat the damn Lakers. I hate the damn Lakers with my heart and soul. I really do. And that just will never change. But that's not why I'm picking the Pelicans to win. I think they've heard. Look, New Orleans is a city where they're going to tell you. And guess what? For the past couple of days, trust me, unless they've been locked up in their house, and even that don't matter, they've been talked about how soft they are and how, they some garden tools and how they some kitty cats and any other type of slander you can name, that has been directed at the New Orleans Pelicans franchise, at the players, at the coaching staff, and trust me, they have heard it. And look, I know the prize fighter Brandon Ingram is gonna come ready to play. He's had his taste of playoff basketball. He wants to come through. I think CJ McCollum, even though he kind of iffy, and I think he's gonna at least do his best. But guess what? The Pelicans aren't doing shit. They're not doing a damn thing. They ain't winning this game or the next game or no games if number one does not step up to the plate. It is time to be the dominant force that came out of Duke University. The guy that was a phenom, they said, how can he be that big and that explosive and that talented? It makes no damn sense. And yes, you had some injuries. Yes, you had some questionable picks in women. It's okay. We've all been there. Not me, but most of y'all crazy motherfuckers have been there. But you know what? It's time. All the talk about you being fat and how you eat too much food and how you don't want to be in New Orleans and how you just want to be Mr. Triple X. It's time to start putting these narratives to bed. The target has been put on your back ever since Anthony Davis got traded to the Lakers, and the New Orleans Pelicans got the number one overall pick and drafted you. We have been these two organizations have been tied and joined at the hip ever since AD went on to be like, that's all folks, win a COVID championship with the Lakers. And in his mind, he's won. He got out of your shit organization. That's his words, not mine. And it's time for payback. And if you have an opportunity to send them home or send them to a chance to be sent home, this is your moment, Pelicans. This is your moment to set the stage. Remember, everybody was saying, ain't nobody scared about the New Orleans Pelicans? I don't think they were just saying that to hurt your feelings. I think they truly feel it that way. And so at some point, you gotta start taking this shit personal. And I think tonight the Pelicans take this shit personal. I think Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson combined for 70 plus points, and they put the Lakers on their fucking ass and send them back to LA where they gotta pray to whatever God they serve that Golden State doesn't win, and if they do win, that Steph Curry ain't ain't feeling frisky and going on the tear. So that's just what it is. Okay, we got it. Pelicans get the 7 seed. They're on to the playoffs. 9-10 seed, we got the 9 Kings versus the number 10 or the 10th ranked Golden State Warriors. I'm going with Golden State. I want to go with the Kings, but they got Kevin Huerter injured, Malik Monk injured, and in winner go home situations, I am not picking against that light skinned man in the Bay. I just can't do it. You can call me biased, but I don't care. I ain't going against him when chips are on the table. Not. So I don't need to go into the mumbo jumbo of why. Just know I ain't picking against Steph in that situation. Golden State wins. They traveling to LA to play the Lakers. And here's my thing. Look, I want to pick against the Lakers. I want to pick against the Warriors because I hate both of them. And I've been scratching it out. Shit, right now, I had Golden State winning, scratch that out. Then I had the Lakers winning. And the more I think about it, because in my mind, I'm like, does the NBA want LeBron out of the playoffs? Like, do they want LeBron out of the playoffs? Like LeBron out of the playoffs or Steph out of the playoffs? Which one hurts the value the most? And I'm like, of course they want LeBron in the playoffs. He's in the running for the GOAT, the number two, probably the second best player ever of all time. He ain't the first. And don't even be in my comments with the shit. Cause look, I got a thesis that will show that Michael Jordan is the GOAT, and it ain't got shit to do with 6 rings. So that's neither here nor there. But I'm like, at the end of the day, he's still the face of the NBA. We haven't crowned a new face. It's still LeBron James. But then you got the babyface assassin, Steph Curry. And we know what Golden State can do when they in them playoffs. We know what a LeBron-led team can be in the playoffs. There was the 7th seed last year, ended up getting their way all the way to the Western Conference Finals. They could very well be in having a chance to do that again. Do I want to pick against the light-skinned Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Chris Paul, Draymond Green? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Lakers. And here's why. And I'm gonna give you some basketball reasons, not just sentimental. You know, I joke around, but I'm gonna use some basketball reasons. There is nobody on the Golden State Warriors that can stop Anthony Davis. That's a no. To be quite honest with you, there's no one that on the Golden State Warriors that can stop LeBron James. That's a no. Um, I believe the Lakers have more depth. Now, can Darvin Ham utilize depth? I don't know. It's going to come down to coaching. If I had to pick coaching, I'd pick Golden State because I believe Kerr is a much, much better coach than Darvin Ham is. But I think when chips on the table, coaches don't really matter. It's do you have the players? And I don't know where Kaminga's head is. I don't know where Wiggins' head is. Wiggins kind of being, MIA for a good chunk of last season, maybe played a big part in them losing to the Lakers in the playoffs last year. Shit, more I talk about it, I think I'm convincing myself to go with Golden State. All right, I changed my mind. Final time. Final time. I'm going with Golden State to do it. I'm about to make my change right now. I'm going with Golden State to beat the Lakers and upset them on the road. And that will set the playoff stage for the Western Conference as 1 seed Oklahoma City Thunder versus 8 seed Golden State Warriors. 2 seed Denver Nuggets versus 7 seed New Orleans Pelicans. 3 seed Minnesota Timberwolves versus 6 seed Phoenix Suns. And then 4 seed Clippers versus 5 seed Mavericks. That's setting the stage. We are going to talk about my predictions for this later when we actually have our final 16 teams, and I look forward to that. But man, how difficult that was, that just shows how difficult the Western Conference is. And you're going to see that in how I deliberate my picks. And it gives me a few days to think about that. So you know what? I talked about a couple of options of days we're going to do the next show. We're going to do the next show Saturday morning. So stay tuned for that. We're going to do our playoff predictions when we have our final 16 teams. We'll go from there. Peace. Anyways, at the end of the day, where there is this new era of the NBA, this new era of the WNBA with the talent they have going on, we are in a exciting new era of professional sports. And if you are a fan, there's no better time to be one, even if you're one of those casuals and bandwagons. Look, it happens. It's life. All it does is bring more eyes to the game. And it's the mainstays' job to be the educators and to get everybody up to speed. So I'm really excited. You guys should be excited. And I'm excited I was excited to record this episode because, basketball is my baby and being able to talk about the men's and the women's side is just icing on the cake for me. But anyways, that's the end of our show. And as I ended, if there's anything that I said that offended anyone, that's a good thing. It's an opportunity for me to learn. It's an opportunity for you to teach me. All I ask is that you keep it respectful. Peace.